staying fit as you age. We'll show you how one group of seasoned citizens are doing it. And don't drink and shop online. Plus, we visit a Mississippi clock collector. Midmorning starts right now.
WCBI's Midmorning with Aundrea, breaking away from your everyday.
Good morning, everybody. We'll begin with this news from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The report out now is that the number of people sick with flu continues to decrease. That was as of last week, but experts are warning that the season is not over quite yet. The CDC reports there were more than 6,800 new infections, in fact, last week. That brings the season total beginning in October to more than 230,000 people infected with flu this season. Well, running a marathon for long-distance cycling, how often do you hear older people saying such sports just for the young? Well, it seems that's not the case. Researchers have been following a big group of older cyclists, some even in their 80s, who have all remained very active, and the results are surprising, as our medical correspondent Fergus Walsh has been finding out.
I've arranged a 60-mile ride through the Surrey Hills.
This is what healthy aging looks like. These cyclists, aged 64 to 82, think nothing of spending 5 hours or more in the saddle.
Room for one more? Yes, welcome.
I do it for all reasons, for health, because I enjoy it, because it's sociable. It's just a wonderful life.
They've all been examined as part of a trial which is challenging perceptions of aging.
One of the first results I got from the medical study was I was told my body fat was comparable to that of a 19-year-old.
Leading the peloton is Professor Norman Lazarus, at 82, a prime example of healthy aging.
If exercise was a pill, everybody in the world would be taking an exercise pill.
Really good, Norman. Last little bit now.
He not only took part in the study, but helped lead the research. This test shows his excellent lung function.
Last little bit now. Just keep pushing.
An MRI scan gives another indication of how well Norman is aging. These are his thighs. Now compare Norman's muscly leg on the right with that of a sedentary 50-year-old on the left, which is mostly fat.
Ready, push!
If more of us could do the recommended 150 minutes of moderate physical activity each week, it would pay huge dividends.
Across a whole gamut of different levels, what exercise is doing in older individuals is giving them higher levels of function and better quality of life.
The most remarkable findings came when scientists in Birmingham examined blood samples from the cyclists. They found their immune system, which normally declines with age, was still as strong as a young person's.
The immune system is really key in the body. It has several roles. It protects us from infections, but it also helps us to fight things like cancer. So the fact that these cyclists have the immune system of a 20-year-old and not a 70 or 80-year-old means that they're protected from infections and from cancer, potentially.
The advantages then of exercise in later life are profound.
So if cycling is not your thing, try another sport. Or what about dancing, gardening, even brisk walking? Most of the health benefits of these super agers are easily achievable if we just did a bit more physical activity.
Fergus Walsh, BBC News, Surrey.
A growing number of women are apparently ditching their high heels for comfort. Athleisure, or stylish athletic clothing, is taking over women's fashion, and it's spreading from head to toe. A recent survey found that the most popular women's shoe styles in the U.S. have flat soles. Sneakers, sandals, and other casual kicks are the top trends in footwear. You should see what I'm wearing right now. Nikki Batiste is here with a closer look at the flat shoe revolution.
Women are done falling head over heels.
Oh my God, she's fashion roadkill.
After years of suffering in 6-inch stilettos.
I had to take my shoes off.
Girl, me too.
Ladies are finally speaking the truth.
Well, I got blisters bubbling up on the bottom of my foot.
Girl, my pinky toe fell off.
Oh.
Our feet hurt.
If I can wear flat shoes to it and get away with it, I will.
I still want to kind of be chic and cute, so I feel like flats are the thing for that.
Once you get into a pair of comfortable shoes, you are not going back into that crazy high heel.
Now, shoe shoppers are getting a little more grounded.
Sneakers are a huge trend for us.
Travis Hutchinson, manager at Lord & Taylor in New York City, says heels are a classic part of a woman's wardrobe, but flats and athletic styles are running ahead.
Comfort is trending. That's like the number one thing. Women want to be comfortable. So you're seeing women wear sneakers with their suits as well, pencil skirts, dresses.
Sneakers with suits?
Yes, absolutely. It's a huge trend.
High heel sales dropped 12% in the past year, while women's sneakers rose 37%, hitting just over $2 billion.
I'm never wearing heels again to the office.
No. Connie Wang is senior features writer for Refinery 29, a digital media company dedicated to millennial women.
Why is this happening?
There's this idea of a Zuckerbergification of office culture. For women, that kind of looks like the same. You know, they might be dressing a little bit more casually and wearing flats to the office instead of heels.
While Wang isn't advocating for hoodies at work like Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg, she is devoted to wearing flats.
There's a psychological component, I think, to wearing high heels. You feel taller. Are we giving that up by wearing flats?
I think that empowerment looks very differently to many different women. For some women, they feel more like themselves in a pair of flats, and I think we've reached a tipping point in society where that's finally more than okay to do at the office.
This is a great opportunity.
Many women don't want to be measured at work by their heel height, like Wonder Woman on the red carpet and the chief of surgery in Grey's Anatomy.
I don't want to stuff my feet into these shoes.
It's a cultural shift driven in part by millennials and money.
I think that the price of shoes can be really, really high these days, and for women to get the most bang out of their buck, they want a shoe that they can wear all the time.
And being practical can still be pretty.
Can you be comfortable and cute at the same time?
Absolutely, you can be comfortable and cute. That is what it's all about nowadays. Women want to look beautiful and still stay true to how they feel.
All right, apparently online shopping goes well with a glass of wine. A new look at a survey when we come back. Welcome back. You've heard the term shop till you drop. Well, now it's taking on a whole new meaning. A new survey finds millions of Americans are shopping while drinking. As Meg Oliver tells us, it's leading to some interesting decisions.
Have a couple of drinks and then hop on the internet. What could possibly go wrong?
It seemed like a good idea at the time, I guess.
Nick Stuckey admits he was tipsy when he bought these googly eyes for his car, posting on Reddit, "the best drunk online purchase I have made yet."
It's one of those things where like it comes in the mail and you're like, I don't quite remember what I ordered. And then you kind of, it hits you and everything.
In a new survey from Finder.com, 68 million people admitted to drunk shopping, racking up about $447 per person, double the amount from the previous year.
We do spend a lot of money while we're drunk. The problem is actually totaling over $30 billion.
$30 billion.
$30 billion. So,
on spontaneous purchases.
Exactly.
Food is the top purchase, followed by shoes and clothes. But social media is filled with questionable drinking decisions, like this person who accidentally bought 100 top hats for her pet toad. Ian Stratford admits being under the influence when he bought a t-shirt of a sloth. And this man proudly posted the hot pink outfit he ordered after a few rounds.
It's easier to buy after you've had a few drinks?
Yeah, definitely.
The study found men like Adam Laino are more likely than women to do it.
You're in a good mood and it may seem like you need this at the moment, and then you're like, oh, next day you're like, I really don't really need it.
Making those heated s'more slippers and inflatable adult T-Rex costume part of an expensive hangover. Meg Oliver, CBS News, New York.
And that survey found that millennials are the most likely to shop under the influence. All right, some lawmakers and computer scientists are concerned about the growing dangers of fake audio and video. Advances in artificial intelligence and computing have made it possible to make almost anyone appear to say or do just about anything. A recent study found that false information on Twitter reached 1,500 people 6 times faster than the truth. Tony DeCopel has more on a new effort to separate fact from fiction.
Good evening, America.
Alec Baldwin is to some a perfect stand-in for Donald Trump.
China.
But take a look at this. That's President Trump's real face on the right, digitally stamped onto Baldwin's performance.
Testing.
It's part of a wave of doctored audio and video now spreading online.
The idea that someone could put another person's face on an individual's body, that would be like a home run for anyone who wants to interfere in a political process.
Virginia Senator Mark Warner believes manipulated video,
the investigation is ongoing,
could be a game changer in global politics.
This is now going to be the new reality, surely by 2020, but potentially even as early as this year.
This is going so well.
The anonymous maker of the Trump video has made similar videos of Hillary Clinton and Vladimir Putin. In a message to CBS News, he said he does it for fun. And though he sees the potential for fake news, he adds, people will have to adapt as the tech is here to stay.
Are we ready? No, we are absolutely not ready for this. We are absolutely not ready for it. On so many different levels, we're not ready for it.
Hani Farid runs a lab at Dartmouth College aimed at exposing digital fakes.
I want to replace your face with Nicolas Cage's.
For starters, we asked him to make one.
And why Nick Cage? Just because the internet loves? Because it's awesome. No other reason. Already you can see he's identifiable in the first frame, right? So I'm going to go ahead and play it. They're on a mobile device. You can look at that all day long, and that, I tell you, is a pretty compelling fake.
The method, recently published online by an anonymous developer, is one of several that Farid is tracking. This program can change facial expressions in real time, and this Adobe program can create new audio from text.
I separated from my mother.
Right out of the gate, that's terrifying. I mean, that is just terrifying. And now I can create the President of the United States saying just about anything I want.
Adobe calls this an early-stage research project, and while the company acknowledges the potential for objectionable use, it believes the positive impact of technology will always overshadow the negative. All these methods have legitimate uses in digital video and design, but Farid worries they'll be weaponized too.
I think the nightmare situation is a fake video of a politician saying, I've launched nuclear weapons against the country. The other country reacts within minutes, seconds, and we have a global nuclear war.
His lab is developing tools to quickly identify fakes.
So what you have here is an undoctored image, and even pulse, doctored image.
Doctored video.
But Farid suspects this is just the beginning of a much longer struggle.
We have a fake news phenomenon that is not going away. And so add to that fake images, fake audio, fake video, and you have an explosion of what I would call an information war.
There's no Democrat or Republican that would be safe from this kind of manipulation, but boy, oh boy, we have as a country to get our act together.
Coming up, forecasting avalanches, the researchers who watch and wait when Midmonring returns. This really is a miracle. A snowboarder survived last week as the slope beneath him collapsed and literally swallowed him up during an avalanche in the French Alps. The safety equipment he was wearing likely is what saved his life. So far this year, across the American West, 16 people have died in similar accidents. At North America's largest ski resort, Whistler Blackcomb, the ski patrol there uses many tools, including helicopters, to control and prevent these incidents from hurting their guests. Carter Evans spent a day on the slopes and in the air with this life-saving team.
Looking for clearance for two sleds from the valley to the Alpine on the route.
It's 6 a.m. at the base of Whistler Mountain, and avalanche forecaster Anton Horvath and his dog Zeus head uphill to start their day.
Today we were shooting gun one. Our targets are all along the ridge here, the ridge line in Upper Francis Cliffs.
Recent snowstorms have filled the mountain's many avalanche-prone areas with unstable snow.
Okay, ready to fire. We've got over 200 slide paths on Whistler Mountain alone, so after a storm cycle, it takes us at least a couple hours to get everything open. Once the avalanche round leaves the gun and it's in midair, then it arms itself and then it detonates on impact.
How serious of a threat are avalanches here?
They can be a serious threat, but I mean that's part of our main job here is being able to mitigate any kind of serious avalanche hazard.
As a supervisor with Whistler Ski Patrol, Tracy Morrison and her team of 60 use a variety of methods to keep unstable snow from dangerously building up and breaking loose.
We're gonna head over to that slow banner.
But before they deploy any of those tools, it all starts with science.
We'll just do a little dig and we'll kind of punch at it to sort of see what kind of resistance it has.
You're checking those different layers of
We
snow.
are.
And does the different types of layer, does that indicate a slide is more likely in certain circumstances?
It is.
This is my magnifying glass for looking at the layers.
It's like the doctor's kit for snow analysis.
Yeah, pretty much.
Horvath has been monitoring this roped-off plot of what's known as snow study terrain all season.
Ah, you see that there?
Oh, yeah. But the fact that it broke apart when you were tapping on it, that shows some weakness?
That means that there's potential for slab avalanches.
Where it could just slide like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
And that looks like this. The devastating combination of gravity and snow that is every ski resort's worst nightmare. So when avalanche conditions form, snow science turns to preventative action.
Does that mean you hit them harder with a larger explosive?
Yeah, we'll hit it harder.
They hit the snowpack with these explosives made out of PETN or penthrite, each with the explosive force of a stick of dynamite.
We have many guests that come here want to ski in avalanche terrain.
Doug McFarland oversees all operations at Whistler Mountain, and that includes the many facets of avalanche control.
We have a lot of avalanche terrain that rolls into our designated ski runs or groomed passes. If you kick out a slide in that terrain to people skiing below you, you're creating a hazard to that skier below. So we go in and do effective avalanche control prior to you going there. If the terrain is tricky where the patrol teams have to navigate, or we'll use a helicopter to actually make the whole thing go faster.
Okay, let's go.
Now what you can do is you can get surgical with the helicopter. You can get that shot exactly where you want it.
Well, what are you trying to hit? Well, our targets are three cornices up here on this ridge line up by the top of Whistler Mountain. They're large overhanging features created by the wind on the top of these ridge lines, and we want to knock them down.
For obvious reasons, this mission flies after the lifts are closed and skiers are long off the mountain.
The fuses on these explosives are about 2 minutes and 15 seconds, so once he lights them and drops 3 out of the helicopter, that'll give us about a minute to move out of the way before the explosion. Okay, preparing to open the door. Opening the door. Shot is lit. Shot is lit. Clock is started. Okay, shot is away. Shot is away. Okay, I can see the next target there. Shot is away. Shot is away. Okay, there's our next target. Shot is away. Shot is away.
Nice placement, Anton.
Hopefully they work. Nada.
That's better. Cornice control on in Glacier Bowl is complete.
We didn't get much in the way of results out of shot number 1 and 3, but shot number 2, we got a good solid size 2 result, so we're happy with that.
Size 2 avalanche? What's
size
that mean?
2 is large enough to bury or kill a person.
And that's exactly the sort of tragedy Whistler Ski Patrol works sunrise to sunset to prevent. Carter Evans, Whistler, British Columbia.
Coming up, imagine springing forward more than 200 clocks for daylight saving. We visit with a clock collector in Flowood when we come back. All right, we're back. She's 24 years old and she just signed a 7-figure book deal, an unprecedented move for a debut author. Aundrea Self has more on the journey of this young author from Chicago.
In downtown Naperville tonight, a woman you've probably never heard of.
Hi, how are you?
But Tomi Adeyemi, a Harvard grad, is back home in Chicagoland tonight signing her fantasy novel, Children of Blood and Bone. The book is based in a fictional African nation.
It's just Black Panther with magic.
Like the popular movie in theaters now, the characters are black.
The same pride that so many people got from watching the Black Panther, Wrinkle in Time, do you hope they get that same thing?
Oh yeah, it means like I've been saving pictures of especially like young black girls and young black boys, like, you know, going into Barnes & Noble to buy the book.
Growing up, she never read about powerful black fantasy characters, so she wrote about Zelly, the main character, to inspire other black girls.
Hopefully not have as many of the self-esteem issues that I had, because she sees herself as epic and powerful.
On top of a 7-figure deal for the book, the people who made Twilight and Maze Runner are making a movie based off Tomi's book.
Hi, how are you?
She's already signed a deal with Fox 2000 for the film rights.
I've been doing this since I was like 5 or 6, and I never thought it was possible.
So now that this book has already hit shelves and the movie is on its way, Tomi is working on the second book in her trilogy. In Naperville tonight, Aundrea Self, CBS 2 News.
All right, daylight saving, of course, began over the weekend and it runs through November. While it's a headache for some, Beth Alexander talks to one man who does not mind setting his clocks forward. Take a look.
Amid the hustle and bustle inside the Fluid Flea Market, rising up above the other noises, chimes ring out every hour on the hour. It's hard to tell just how many clocks there are.
Well, I don't know, probably 75 or 80. I estimate I've owned over 30,000 in the last 48 years. I've got about 200 in my house.
Donnie Register marks time a little differently than most. As an antiques collector and dealer for 48 years, he's established quite a collection.
And every clock's got a history.
That's a lot of clocks to have to set forward for daylight saving time.
But I don't wind 200 clocks all the time. Company comes over, I may wind 50 or 60 to show them.
Mr. Donnie bought his first clock in about 1970.
And then I bought 2 clocks.
Soon, he was in the business of repairing and selling clocks. It was a popular trade after World War II.
Under the GI Bill, we pay to send you to school to go for watch repair, carpentry, plumbing.
That type of business is less popular today, with most World War II vets aging. Still, Donnie says people come to him to repair family heirlooms, and he knows his stuff when it comes to the history of tickers.
In Victorian times, in general, if you were wealthy, you had a clock in every room. If you were kind of poor, you had 1 clock in the house, most of the time sitting on the mantle. And, you know, that's just part of Americana.
But on the subject of counting time,
well, that's just a human thing. The sun's going to come up and the sun's going to set no matter what time we call it. So that don't seem to change.
Beth Alexander, WJTV 12.
And Mr. Register also gave some advice on setting wind-up clocks. If you have one, it's okay to move the hands forward, but don't wind them backwards, he says. We'll be right back to wrap things up. Connected with us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We'll see you back here tomorrow.